What up, world? Your boy Charles Brown back again with another Talking Facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. All right, man, I got a burning question. I got a burning question that I'm eager to answer with you all. Did Kendrick Lamar just flop? Did Kendrick Lamar's highly anticipated Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers just flop? I want to talk about this because the simple fact, it shows you the state of what we have with music, with hip hop. The fact that we even have this discussion, that the discussion has turned to numbers when in regards to a real quality hip hop album. When I'm asking people, do they like the album, right? They're starting off with what it sold. Process that. We have hit a point in hip hop where it's no longer about how good the music sounds. It's about what it sold. So let's talk about what it sold. I'm going to read this excerpt from Billboard. This was posted 7 hours ago by the Billboard staff today. For the third straight week, a new release bowls with the biggest debut week of the year so far. A new release bows with the biggest debut week of the year so far. This time is arguably the most anticipated album we've got so far in 2022. Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. The set, Lamar's first since his unanimously acclaimed and commercially dominant 2017 LP Damn, enters the Billboard 200 albums chart at number one, with 295,000 equivalent album units sold, passing the 274,000 posted by Bad Bunny a week earlier. Although it fell well short of the 603,000 that Damn had moved, right? Damn had moved 603,000. In addition, Mr. Morale lands all 18 of its tracks on the Billboard Hot 100, led by a pair of top 5 debuts in N95 at number 3 and Die Hard at number 5. So I want you to process what I just told you because all of that's we're going to talk about all that. Then I got 2 more excerpts from Twitter. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is Kendrick Lamar's highest selling album, and it broke the streaming records. It is currently 2022's number 1 most acclaimed album. In comparison, Damn moved 603,000 in the first week with a 353 pure sales. But the big difference is that during that run, Kendrick had sold bundles of the album, the rules for which have since been modified. K-Dot has also not made any physical copies of the latest album available for sale, so the only pure copies it's registering is generating from digital stores like iTunes and Amazon. So what I want to say to this thing is 100% it did not flop. You got guys coming out, rappers coming out right now doing 70,000 units and they're considered a success. You got guys, if they're doing 150, it's like they destroyed the entire game and everything has stopped because that rapper did 150,000 units, right? You got to also consider you're comparing Kendrick to Drake, Lil Uzi Vert, J. Cole, Future, and Kanye West, right? So let's talk about it. You got people all up in arms doing a dance, a jig, because they feel like, well, these are Drake fans. They feel like that Drake beat them, right? They feel like somehow, some way, this vindicates Drake as the best rapper in the Kendrick and Drake feud. Somehow that Kendrick only doing 295K somehow means that all of a sudden he has become beneath Drake and he's lost, right? So what I want to talk about is, let's start there. When More Life lost to Kendrick, they had a million excuses, right? And we're not going to do excuses. We're going to do reasons, right? When Drake lost to Kendrick, it was because Kendrick dropped Humble, and he had some big records, and he had some big features, and all of that's true. When Kendrick dropped Damn, he let it off with Humble. Followed it with Loyalty. He had some big, huge records. He was playing a different game. He was in a different space, right? And none of that is what happened. He dropped bundles. He did everything. That 603 is a lot of stuff bundled in. Physicals, it's a lot of stuff counted that he did not do with this album. As a matter of fact, if you're listening to what he's saying about on this album, it was never meant to be another Damn. He said he had a writer's block issue for at least 2 years. So someone with a writer's block issue definitely cares about the quality of their work, because you could just write anything. There's no, in my opinion, there is literally no such thing as writer's block, because you can write Cat in a Hat Meets the Rat. Like, you can write anything down. Writer's block means you want something of quality on that paper. Because he ain't forget how to write. I bet you know how to sign a check, right? I bet you know how to write. If he needs to write a note to somebody, he knows how to write. He didn't forget his motor skills. What happens with writer's block is you care about the product you're writing. So everything you're writing, I guarantee you he wrote. He just didn't like what was hitting the paper. He cared about what he was hitting the paper with. So when he finally got his inspiration, it was no longer to beat Drake or rock a party, this and that. It was, he had a lot of therapy during this time, apparently. And when you're in a space where you are healing and you don't care about numbers, there is not one song, well, but there are a few songs that could possibly be commercially viable on this album, like maybe Die Hard and Purple Haze, a couple of songs that'll probably go, and he didn't even try to put them out yet. But this is not an album where this guy was, I'm going to beat Drake's numbers, right? The difference between a Drake in album mode and a Kendrick in album mode, to just be blunt, Drake is really focusing on hit records that's going to make sales, right? Drake is not a rapper. Drake is a pop star. Drake is a pop artist. Let's be clear. Drake has always said he's never going to stop singing, and he's always going to be doing the records that's going to move units. That is not a hip hop artist that is concerned about the actual content hip hop wise. Because if your whole bar is the entire level that you are working for is to specifically sell records, that's not a hip hop artist. I'm just going to be 100 with you, right? A hip hop artist's main goal is never to just sell records and that's it. That's a pop star. That's Britney Spears, right? That is my God, who we can go on and on with a million, but that's Taylor Swift, right? That is their entire purpose. And even Taylor Swift has a level of artistry to her stuff. It's not just, let me get up here and do the dance or whatever. She even has a level of artistry. But if your entire motivation when you go in album mode is to sell albums, you're probably a pop star. I'm just going to keep it 100% with you. And I don't think Kendrick is a pop star by any stretch of the imagination. He doesn't do anything that pop stars do. First of all, a pop star is not going to disappear. Very few pop stars are going to disappear and not do interviews and not be seen anywhere and not be at parties and not be in the public eye, not do a million features and not worry about their career day in and day out. I don't see any indication that Kendrick literally sits around all day worrying about, am I going to be popping tomorrow? So I say all that to say, there is no indication with this music from this album or his actions that he's trying to beat Drake in any kind of way, shape, or form at Drake's own game. He's not playing the Drake game. I can see if he came out with a record full of poppy songs and songs that was sweet nothings to girls' ears and talking about past relationships and failures and bottle popping and his haters and this and that, the entire album, and then he still lost. I could imagine then we could say, okay, you lost to Drake. This album has none of that, right? It's clearly a man that's not trying to get into a machine and compete. He did not have a lead single. The song he dropped is not even on the album. He dropped The Heart Part 5 a few days before the album dropped. And it wasn't even on the album. He's not playing the same game. You heard him at the album. He said, I sacrificed myself for this music that I'm making on this album. He knew it was going to turn a lot of lesser minds off. And there are a lot of lesser minds in the music business right now. You can see them online. They're dancing. They're doing a jig because all they care about is the simplistic, small-minded, 5-piece bubble of content. You got 5 topics that all of these rappers talk about. And every single year they saying the same exact stuff. They're not getting nowhere. They're not growing up in any kind. There is zero growth with these rappers. I can promise you. You can take a guy song from 12 years ago, right? Give him them same lyrics and put him to a brand new song. And it wouldn't be nothing different than he's already saying right now. Popping bottles, popping pills, going to the club, digging out some chick. It's not even close to what adults go through on a daily basis, right? There is no growth, especially when you're of a certain age. Once you're in your 30s, you need to start being more aware of what life is about. And I think that Kendrick dug so deep into this, a lot of people are afraid to even process what they fear. A lot of people use music for escapism. So what's the best way to escape? By listening to stuff that you don't really do. Right? I don't know anybody who lives these lives on a consistent basis. I don't know anyone who's throwing money up in strip clubs and buying $400-$500 bottles of anything and always in a VIP unless they're a drug dealer. Right? I don't know people who live like this in a daily situation. And it ain't all drug dealers buying this music. So these are regular people who don't have these lifestyles that want to hear about it, right? Which is great. But when we're going to start comparing numbers, we need to start comparing the same category. Right? I don't think Drake and Kendrick are in the same category. As much as you would like to believe it, it's not even close. They're not the same. They don't do the same type of music. They don't have the same style of content or the pure desire of what to be in life, right? I'm not saying that these guys are right or wrong or indifferent. Migos and Drake and Uzi, and I'm not saying Kanye. I'm not saying that they are better, worse, and different. I'm saying that they are not after the same things. So if I'm doing conscious and deep introspective rap, and I'm not even trying to be on your level, why is it that my album sales are compared to yours? Let's just start there. And the second thing I want to say, Kendrick dropped no physicals for this. He didn't do any bundles. This was not a industry release. I'm sure there are a million ways. If he wanted to get 700,000 units counted, because they changed the streaming thing. They changed it where if you put a bundle, they're not counting it. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Not money, they made money, but a lot of people lost a lot of numbers. Just like Kanye lost numbers on that Donda 2 when he put it with that streamer, that little stem, that stem thing that he had, right? They disqualified a lot of his numbers. Right? And he pretended to not care. He was like, oh, yeah, thank you. Now I can be as free. You know, goddamn well, Kanye cares about that. This guy's the guy that made Grammy Family. He cares about awards, accolades, and all that. So, of course, he cares about not having his numbers counted. Kanye's numbers got removed because of that stem player. So they're not letting you you can do what you want, but you're not going to get your numbers counted. Kendrick did 295 without any bundles, without any physicals. Physicals would have doubled it. What nobody's understanding is, had he done physicals, those would have literally been counted. Had he done even 100,000 physicals, that would have been 495. And he would have did double that. So you're talking about a guy that didn't do any physicals and didn't do any bundles, competing with a man who's literally the Michael Jackson pop star status of this era, and you're trying to say he didn't beat him and he flopped. This is far from a flop, right? Far from a flop. And the number one thing people want to say is that the content is not what the people wanted, and that's why it quote unquote flop. They want to say that, oh, some people actually rapped on their albums. That's why they did better than Kendrick. And I got people I'm looking in the comments, and I got people who don't even do music talking about it flopped and we don't want to hear that. Like, these are people who have no clue how this business works, right? They're like, it was predicted to do 800,000. No one said that. When you ask them to show the receipts of somebody saying Kendrick was going to do $500,000 or 600,000 or 800,000, they'll go screenshot a random Twitter account from a random person with 10 followers who was saying Kendrick's going to do 800,000, and that's their proof that the predictions was 800,000 or 600,000 or 400,000. These are internet trolls who really don't have much going on in their life. In what world is 295 in any type of situation a flop, right? It has, what was the streaming numbers? It's insane. Just the streaming numbers itself. I'm trying to look it up because I wanted to be really accurate. But the streaming numbers. So streaming numbers don't equate to you got to get a certain amount of streams to make one sale, right? And this thing was streaming 343 million streams. Listen to what I just said to you. 343 million streams, not 1,000. 343 million streams. Smashed everything. But somehow these people are trying to dumb it down and box it into nobody wanted to hear that soft, what do you call it? You needed a counselor rap, right? You needed a therapist rap. No one wants to hear that therapy rap. But somehow 343 million streams from people wanting to hear the therapy rap, right? And everybody had an opinion, but everybody heard it. So if it flopped, half the people would be like, I didn't even hear it. You can't name 3 rappers that outsold this man, but somehow it flopped. I will wait for you to tell me the 3 rappers that outsold this man. And he played their game at top of that. right? And at the end of the day, the three, and this is just personal, my personal opinion, the three rappers you're gonna name, I can't get through their music. I listened to all of their albums one time and put it away. I probably, and this is not even exaggeration, I probably listened to this Kendrick album at least 15 times from beginning to end. So you're going to say Drake, Kanye, and J. Cole, right? Which it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And I'm going to say I don't listen to that. And it's a lot of people that find zero substance and compatibility with a Drake album, a Kanye album, and to some chagrin, a J. Cole. J. Cole is spitting at the highest level. His feature with Benny the Butcher is the song of the year. It is the song of the year, a rap song of the year. J. Cole's feature with Benny the Butcher, there has not been a better song the entire 2022. To me. I know we only in May. But with that being said, for people who really want some substance and they want to be challenged mentally, we're not even listening. No disrespect to Drake. Drake makes great music, right? We're not even playing that. I don't know what to tell you. If your entire substance of who's a great rapper is based on their sales, then I don't know no great rappers because I don't listen to rappers because of their music sales. It's just, it is what it is, right? I don't like pitting great artists against each other, but that's what we do in this business. That's what we do in this game. And if that's the case, then it's a lot of people that sold a lot of records that are better than your favorite rappers as well. So I don't base stuff on how many records they sold. And this by no stretch is a flop. But the narrative from a lot of people who don't like Kendrick or they don't like what he's talking about this time around are rejoicing. But let's be clear, this is nowhere near a flop. And I know a lot of y'all would kill y'all own parents to have these numbers and the money that comes with it. Right? A lot of y'all would slap your mom for these numbers to the residuals off this first week sale. A lot of your favorite rappers don't do these numbers in their entire career. It's just a fact. His first week sales are killing your entire career with most of these rappers out here. A lot of people you're following and worshiping, they're not rocking these kind of numbers. So, end of the day, this is by no stretch a flop. If anything, it's a triumph because when someone's on Twitter talking about he didn't even outsell Drake and he didn't outsell Cole, at that point, we're not even talking about the music. We're talking about the game, how he played it this time by not dropping a single, right? He didn't do a run. He did everything after the fact. He's going to release physicals, which are going to go through the roof, right? He's going to do a tour, which is already up and going. I think Baby Keem and somebody else is on that tour. I might end up in Vegas at the show that he got in Vegas. We're talking about it, and it's not damn. This is somebody reaching for another level. This is a higher plateau. This is something never done before. And as an MC and as a person who reveres MCs and what MCs do, our call to this music is not to just make money. If you make money at what you do, then great. There's 1 million, 2, 3 million rappers out here that rap every day. They rap their ass off. Their passion is the music, right? And if you told them they're amazing artists, and if you told them if you can make one of the Drake songs that sound like his most commercial music and just do one of them and you'll be set for life, they'll tell you to kiss their ass. It's just a fact. Everybody not with that game. everybody don't want what you want, and everybody don't want just to make sales just because they did a record where they was singing to some girl about how much she broke his heart. Everybody don't want to do that. If that's what you're doing, then God bless you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's room for everything. But if someone's doing really eclectic, and I hate the word, I'm not even gonna say experimental because that's weird. I saw somebody write it's experimental, and I just don't like experiment. It's not experimental. This is what this guy is. This is coming from his inner soul. They're doing really different work, right? Experimental is stuff that you can't even track. It doesn't make any sense. It's like stuff unheard of, and it's weird, and it's different, and it's all over the place, and it's weird effects, and it's weird sense that just don't even add up. That's experimental. This is not experimental. This is just quality music. It's different genres thrown together, mixed together perfectly. I think the album is a masterpiece, and I think comparing it to Damn, which is a different project from 5 years ago, is a mistake. But that's what we do. I think even some of Drake works are compared to other works that he's in different moments in his life, and people want to compare him. It's clear people that are not artists, that don't understand the different artistry it takes to be where you are. In the business, when you are at a certain point, you don't want to do cookie cutter, click and drag. I'm sure Kendrick could have put out 15 songs that they all bumped in the whip and this and that. They don't understand how easy that is, but how hard it is when that's not in your heart, right? I see some of these guys put out the most ABC formula albums where it's everything that these kids ask for, everything that people want, and somebody be like, it was mid, right? It'll be every single commercial type of record, every trap beat, every hard beat, every party beat, every club beat. It's all just nonsense. It's goofy, and it's all buffoonery and coonery. And someone will still say he played the game. He did everything right. He gave you everything you wanted. He gave you stripper music. He gave you ride down the block. Gave you killer music, everything, drill music. He did everything right. And someone will still say that album is trash. So it's like you can't win, so why would you try to play a game that you're not into, right? I don't think Kendrick is playing the game that we think he should be playing, and I salute that because I don't want to hear a lot of nonsense. I'm a grown man. I don't need to hear a lot of buffoonery where you're doing this, that, and the third, constantly either lying on the records that because you really ain't doing nothing, or you 2 days away from a federal indictment anyway. So why would we be listening to you anyway? I am from the hood. I am right out the projects, all of that. I seen all that. I lived all that. The entire purpose of you becoming a rich and famous rapper is to get out, not to get indicted because you're 10 years in the game still doing crimes and you still calling hits and this and that. It doesn't make any sense to me. For a grown rapper that's a millionaire to be sitting in a prison cell, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. How it's 1 foot in the street, 1 foot in the rap. It makes no sense. So therefore, I don't want to hear it on record, right? I don't want to hear all your exploits and everybody you put in the box and this and that. Because grown people don't live like that. We really don't. I'm just sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Once you get a certain age, if you are doing that, you probably really don't got much time left anyway. I'm just keeping it a buck. If you're 40-ish and you're still rolling up and pulling out and beating people down and you still the muscle, it probably ain't gonna work out anyway for you. So I don't need to listen to you rapping. I'm just keeping it 100%. I done seen too much gangster stuff. It doesn't impress me. It doesn't make me feel like you are super tough and I want to hear you do anything, right? So we just in two different spaces. And I think Kendrick is in two different spaces from everybody else in the game. And I salute that man for giving me grown folk music to listen to. If it ain't your cup of tea, that's okay. But be clear, it did not flop by no stretch of no metric at all. And this guy's geared to do more with it. He geared to do the tour. He geared to drop the physicals just to be doing what you're supposed to do as an artist. He didn't have the passion for it seems, until he got it. And when he got it, he did it the way he wanted to do it and put it out the way he wanted to do it. He wasn't trying to compete with Drake. They would have did it different. They would have took a song, they would have put a video out a month before, let that video bubble for a month or so. They would have promoted the album nonstop. It wasn't a lot of promotion on this album, bruh. This dude did like 2 or 3 pictures. He did the picture with holding the 2 CDs, telling us it was a double CD, and then he put the album cover. And that was the extent of the promotion from Kendrick. It wasn't a lot of, I'm in album mode. It wasn't a lot of that. Doing snippets and going on the gram and putting snippets of it wasn't doing a lot of that. It wasn't no or live release part. It wasn't a whole lot of stuff going on, right? So he playing the game different, and y'all need to respect that. My name is Challz Brown. Thank y'all for watching. CLBMG.com. Every Wednesday, we got Clash the Podcast, me, Dante, and Fliz. Go to essentialvarieties.org to get all kind of interesting things for your body, your mind. And down in my playlist, check out Force Multipliers. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
CLB.